Hello, this is Seeky Primal 7 with the commentary on the most popular series on YouTube right now, Disney's vs. non-Disney villains, made by Manwu and 7th Windman. I know that 7th Windman did a director's commentary, and History Buff 5341 did a fan commentary, but I figured that you guys could use another fan commentary to see what other people think of this series, which I will say this, you guys are doing a really good job on this series. So, yeah, I will be commenting on how well edited the fights are, and the movies, and the villains, and the storyline, and anything else I could come up with. And I may be like a history buff, I might ramble at some points, maybe not as much rambling, but there may be a few parts where I might ramble, so yeah, let's go ahead and get started with round 1. First fight, we have Hades from Disney's Hercules versus Hexus from Ferngully: The Last Rainforest. Yeah, I will be saying the movie that each villain is from, because I just feel like it's a proper introduction, I guess, is one way to put it. And this fight is pretty well edited, and the storyline is very easy to follow. Hades is trying to figure out how to take over Mount Olympus and conquer his brother Zeus, and the Fates tell him about Hexus, who, if he teams up with him, he will succeed. But the only question is, will the toxic spirit of destruction want to work alongside the evil god of the underworld? And sadly, no. Hexus works for nobody. I will say Hades is one of my favorite Disney villains. I mean, somewhere in the top 10 countdown. One thing I want to point out, though, is, I know in the movie Ferngully, which I only recently watched a few times, I know right there that little speck is supposed to be, Krista, who is the main hero in the story, the little fairy. But I'm just curious, is that supposed to represent Hades? Because if it is, does that mean Hexus is that much bigger than Hades? I'm just wondering if someone could clarify that for me. That'd be great. Anyway, yeah, Hades runs back to the underworld, but then Hexus bursts through. Really good editing there. And I was disappointed that Hades lost, but it's no big deal. It's cool. It's understandable why. Alright, now we have Judge Claude Frollo from Disney's The Hunchback of Notre Dame versus Rothbart from The Swan Princess. Nice use of the guards from both movies, because they do look kind of similar, so yeah. And it's easy to see why you got these two to fight, because they do look kind of similar and act kind of similar, except that while Rothbart uses magic, Frollo tries to execute anyone who uses magic. So yeah, they're polar opposites. And I would just like that scene of Rothbart transforming into the great animal. I mean, I thought that was a cool scene. And yet, another non-Disney villain wins. Alright, now we have the Horned King from Disney's The Black Cauldron versus Ramesses from The Prince of Egypt. This was an interesting fight because of, yeah, instead of head-on-head fights, it's more of military tactics. And I just find it so ironic, and I'm pretty sure History Buff brought this up as a technique, but I find it ironic how you're using the plagues of God as plagues sent by the Horned King. I don't know, I just found that kind of unusual. And of course, here we see that the two are preparing for war against each other. But Ramesses must be either really brave or really stupid to challenge the Horned King, because he's a really powerful Disney villain. And I will mention that Disney's The Black Cauldron is probably, if I recall, the first Disney PG-rated animated film. I just thought I'd bring up that little trivia tidbit. Yeah, I may do that in a few rounds, give a few trivia tidbits on specific characters or the movies or whatever. And finally, a Disney villain wins. Alright, now we have Professor Ratigan from Disney's The Great Mouse Detective versus Jenner from The Secret of Nim. Anyway, the story is simple. Ratigan bursts into Nim, Jenner insults Ratigan, Ratigan gets really ticked, because, you know, whatever happens to him whenever someone calls him a great giant sewer rat or something like that. Interesting fight. Jenner pulled out a sword, but all Ratigan needs is his brute strength. Yeah. And I know why he didn't have Jenner on, because in the movie he just doesn't have a whole lot of footage, so yeah. And I do like Ratigan, he's another one. Okay, now this is my favorite rivalry in the villain war. Dr. Facilier from Disney's Prince of the Frog, who is my all-time favorite Disney villain, versus Mock from Rock and Rule. Anyway, Mock makes contact with the friends on the other side with his supercomputer, and gives them an offer to join his alliance. Back at the Voodoo Emporium, Dr. Facilier gives the friends a similar offer to stay with him and not join some rat-faced impersonator of Michael Jackson. And I don't mean to be racist here, but I'm serious. Mock looks so much like a very, very old and very creepy version of a white Michael Jackson. And Dr. Facilier, the way he dances, is similar to how the original Michael Jackson danced. So if you think about it, you guys made it look like black Michael Jackson versus white Michael Jackson here. I just thought that was kind of strange. And I will say this, the reason why this is my favorite rivalry, besides that Dr. Facilier is my favorite Disney villain, is that these two have so much in common. I mean, it's like they were destined to be enemies or something. Because, I mean, they're both very evil, they're both con men, they both have that suave, gentleman-like attitude, until someone ticks them off. But the biggest thing they have in common is their obsessions over the occult, except while Facilier's obsession is more revolved around voodoo and dark magic, Mock's obsession is a lot darker and more sinister and is a more satanic related, I guess one way to put it, which makes Mock a very creepy character. And I was very disappointed at the outcome of this fight, and I bet many people were too, because Facilier has become a really popular Disney villain, like the most popular. He's just so awesome. But it's understandable why you made him lose. And I will say, Facilier has like one of the most intensive death scenes of any Disney villain, along with Frollo and the Horned King. I mean, he gets dragged to the underworld or hell or wherever, and he's got to be the only Disney villain that gets killed during his own villain song. I mean, how disturbing is that? Okay, anyway, in the final fight, Ursula from Disney's The Little Mermaid versus Messina from Freddy FR07, also known as Freddy the Frog. Ursula gets a hold of the Triton, and Messina notices this and wants to try him for herself. Like Mock, I wasn't totally familiar with Messina at first until I saw the movie she's from. And it's a pretty good movie, I'll have to say. I do love how you make those merge shots, how you merge the villains together to make it look like they're actually facing off each other. I just wonder what tool to use for that, because I have a few ideas for fights, and I would like to know how you guys merge them together like that. Because I don't have the tools you guys have to make these kind of videos. And by the way, this fight is really well improvised and thought out. The way you use the ship from Freddy the Frog and combine it with the ship from The Little Mermaid, and wham! Launches into Ursula's stomach. Very well improvised. So yeah, that was my commentary on round 1, and I'll be bringing up the commentaries on the other rounds. And I I won't promise, but I might do the commentaries on some of the spin-offs, like Disney Villain Wars or Disney Heroes versus Villains or non-Disney Villain Tournament. Maybe. I won't be promising though, but I might. So yeah, this is CK Primal 07, and have a nice day.